Hey, this is Nick from BikeTalk, and I'm here with Omar Bronson of the
LA River Revitalization Corporation.
He's the executive director, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Well, you're doing some work with the LA River. I mean, that's what your organization is about, and maybe you could just start by telling us about the work you do.
The LA River Revitalization Corporation was created by the City of Los Angeles in 2007, or at least the conception of it was created in 2007 as part of the master plan that the city adopted. The idea that the LA River could be this great public resource, something that connected environmental, social, economic issues, and really stretches from all the way in the valley, in Canoga Park, where the LA River starts, going down to Long Beach. The LA River is 51 miles. The first 32 miles are within the city of Los Angeles. And so the River Revitalization Corporation really is focused on three things. Moving dirt, really creating real projects and moving those forward. Aligning public policy, and strategically marketing the river. Each of those things are very important because projects show progress. Policy is important because it cuts through 12 cities, the county, state, and federal jurisdictions. And strategically marketing the river is important because a lot of people don't know we have a river in Los Angeles.
Okay, so one of the things you're doing is bringing awareness to people that we have a river?
Absolutely. So one of the projects that we have is our bike-in movies. Last summer, we looked around. We said we want to create continued excitement and engage people in a more creative way. And so we went to Kickstarter. We showed a 15-second video of Frida Kahlo saying, "What should I do this weekend as a puppet? And I don't want to be stuck in traffic." She said, "Let's go to the LA River for a bike-in movie." We had 5,000 hits that first week, and we raised $10,000 in 8 days. With those funds, we were able to then host 3 bike-in movies in the Elysian Valley. We had about 1,000 people come to the bike-in movies. And we didn't show, Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore. We showed Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Beetlejuice, Rushmore, because that's what the people who donated through Kickstarter wanted to see. And then we also themed the events around the bike-in movies. So we had bike valets. About half the people that came to the event biked to the event, which was exciting to see. We had bike-powered DJ booth, pedal creameries, churning your own ice cream, food trucks, and just really creating events. And I honestly, the first night we had one, I got goosebumps. Seeing a whole group of people biking up, kids playing with their parents. It was community. And I think that's, to me, what attracted me to the LA River is that LA can be a very isolating place. It's fragmented, it's big. So how do you connect at a real level? And for those few hours, people were connecting at a very real level. And it was exciting to see how the LA River could be the place for those connections to happen.
How did this happen, that you had so much interest, that they all came to your site, that they came to the event? Why did that all take place?
I think there's a movement in Los Angeles right now about building community and being experimental. Ciclavia is an example of an experiment that's gone big, so that 150,000 people 3 times a year are coming back to take back our streets. And I think that spirit of caring about Los Angeles. Sometimes people think of LA not as a destination but a launch pad, sort of a place for them to kind of take off. I think more and more people, though, that are recognizing that it's important to embrace LA as a city. It's a young city, and so how can we come together and create our own identity? And so, food trucks, Ciclavia, all the sort of pop-up experimental things that are happening, I think the LA River is tapping into that energy of experimenting and really rethinking what does civic life look like.
When did you guys get started?
So the River Corporation was incorporated by the city in 2009. The mayor and the city council appointed the initial board, and then I was hired as the first executive director in January of 2011.
And are you going to have another pop-in movie?
We hope so. We are right now raising another $10,000 through the Kind Project to host the Bike-In movies this summer. We very much saw that people were excited, and we want to take them on the road. So last summer we just did them in the Elysian Valley. We've had people ask us to do it in the Valley and Long Beach, and continuing to sort of bring people together across LA. So right now we're raising the money and look forward to continuing to do even more fun activities. We're looking at having movable feasts. Again, continuing to find creative ways to engage people. We just launched.
What's a movable feast?
A movable feast is we're going to have white linen dinner on the river and really kind of creating a unique setting for people to come. We're trying to find either emerging or celebrity chefs to come, and local food. Again, just sort of really celebrating LA and giving people unique ways to participate in what's happening along the river. We just launched a custom IPA with Golden Road Brewery. Golden Road is one of the largest, if not largest, microbrewery in Los Angeles. We partnered with them to create a new can for our Greenway 2020 campaign to connect all 51 miles of the river. They produced 400 barrels. Half of that went into cans, which is about 60,000 cans. You can buy it at Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Costco. And then we're hosting happy hours at a lot of the restaurants and bars.
Does money come back to you for that?
And a portion of the proceeds come back to the River Corporation. But really that is a marketing opportunity to continue to build awareness that the LA River is a great public resource.
So as the Army, I want to talk about more bike stuff too, but as the Army Engineering Corps, their project, it was like going to happen or wasn't going to happen, or can you explain all that first?
Sure. So for the last 7 years, there's been a study in partnership between the City of Los Angeles, the county, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The U.S. Army Corps built the river that we see today, so we have them to thank for the concrete. It did its job at the time, which was just about flood control capacity, and so it was about safety of life and property. We now realize that there are significant consequences to that, dividing of communities, waste of water. Los Angeles imports 90% of its water. 70% of that free rainwater that comes down from the sky when we get it drains down the LA River. And so there's been tremendous consequences for having a very limited perspective of what the river could be. At the time, it was single-purpose, single-benefit infrastructure. Let's build a freeway instead of complete streets. Instead of a public transportation system, let's build more roads. And so we're now learning what are the consequences of those policy decisions. And so about 8 years ago, the Army Corps began a study of how to reimagine the LA River and how to really focus on the habitat restoration possibilities. So not just flood control, but how can this be a great habitat. Just as an example, there's over 200 bird species in the LA River. Most people wouldn't know that. There's fish in the LA River. But I don't know the exact type, but I've seen people fishing along the LA River. But it's not built in a system. And so that's what the Army Corps study is aiming to do, is how do we have a more systemic look at the LA River. They're only looking at an 11-mile stretch that goes from about downtown Union Station to just north of Griffith Park. Right now, the proposed alternative is called Alternative 13. This is narrowed down from over 150 different alternatives. And, that's about a $500 million project. The one that the local community wanted and that, a lot of the advocacy for was called Alternative 20. That would have been closer to $1 billion project. I think either way, what we're looking at is a significant investment into the LA River, and again, a more sort of holistic way of what this river could be for the region.
Wait, one project was $1 billion. That's project 20.
Alternative 20.
And 13 was
about $500 million.
$500 million.
Right.
And which were they going with?
The one that was recommended by the Army Corps is Alternative 13. They then got a bunch of public feedback. We have not yet heard what the final decision is yet.
So the feedback was, the mayor wants 20, right?
Everybody wants 20. And obviously we want more investment. But I think, at the end of the day, we're excited that people are making progress, and $500 million is a significant, step in that progress.
Yeah, what's going to happen, 13?
We don't know yet. And I think that sort of decision will hopefully be announced soon.
So what will Project 13 look like?
I think you're going to be able to look at greater greening along the river. Hopefully there's opportunities for even terracing, so that way instead of the sheer fall off, there's opportunities to soften those edges. From a habitat perspective, it really creates greater connectivity. From a people perspective, you're taking something that, again, was just looked at as infrastructure and can really be something that is a part of our lives.
So it's a shorter span, Project 13, than 20?
It does. It doesn't go all the way up to Verdugo Wash, which is where Alternative 20 went all the way up to the Verdugo Wash, which is roughly where the 134 is. So it falls short of there.
But it's the same otherwise, it's just shorter?
It's shorter and just slightly narrower scope. And so some of the projects were a little bit more ambitious, related to, there's a project called Piggyback Yard, which is Friends of LA River has been championing that. There is a opportunity to do a better connection at the Arroyo Seco and the cornfields. So some of those projects are scaled down.
In Project 13. So,
right.
But when you talk about connecting 51 miles of the river, that's outside of either project scale. Can you tell me how that will happen?
So I think when we think about the LA River, we have to think about it in many ways. But two of the ways that we look about it are what happens in the channel and then what happens on the edge of the channel. And so while the Army Corps piece was really focused on just the habitat and the restoration of the river, Greenway 2020 is looking about how can we create connectivity along the full 51 miles of the river. And if you're familiar with the High Line in New York, which is an example of an old rail, elevated rail, that became obsolete as industry changed. A lot of people wanted to tear it down because it was obsolete infrastructure. But other people saw an opportunity to create a great linear park. And so that's what, in the last few years, they did, is they created a 1.5 mile linear park that has become a world-class destination. And what they did in doing so is they have helped people realize that you can create a great linear experience, that parks don't just have to be big open spaces, but they can also be something that is a sort of as much about movement in time as it is in space. And so that's the idea that we want to carry forward with Greenway 2020, is the connectivity of all 51 miles of the river that has bikeways, that has pedestrian ways, that has equestrian loops. And so how do you create that space that really showcases all of Los Angeles? In many ways, this can really be our Central Park. It really is a 51-mile Central Park, and that brings together our city. LA gets knocked for being this fragmented, segmented city. The LA River is something that really can connect us and bring us together as a city.
How long are the bike stretches now? How long are the bike paths now?
So there's about 26 miles of bikeways that exist today. The longest continuous stretch, or contiguous stretch, if you will, is from Long Beach going to about Maywood, so just south of downtown. Then there's another stretch that picks up in the Elysian Valley, and there's some small segments in the West Valley. So there's been tremendous momentum, though. NBC Universal, for example, has committed $13.5 million to connect 6 miles of the bikeway between about Riverside Drive near Griffith Park going into Studio City. And so that's the public-private partnership that we want to bring together to really enhance that connectivity. One of the other projects that we're working on is an iconic bicycle, pedestrian, equestrian bridge in North Atwater between Los Feliz and Colorado. This stretch is where really would be the first river promenade. This is where kayaking will launch into the river in the future. 3,000 people went kayaking in the Elysian Valley last summer. They paid $65 a pop. It's free to go to our beaches and mountains, and so I think that just continues to show the momentum and excitement that's building around the LA River being a great public destination. And so this would be the first cable stay bridge, 300-foot long, 130-foot tall mast. There's 220,000 vehicles going by there a day along the 5 freeway. But this is something that will connect the North Atwater community to the bike path and then the 4,200 acres of Griffith Park. And so this is about how do we have great public resources in Los Angeles, but sometimes we get cut off from them. And so I think that's what the LA River and our Greenway 2020 campaign aims to do, is to thread that needle of bringing and stitching together our city again.
So the bike paths will go all the way from the West Valley to Long Beach? Is that possible?
That's the goal, and our goal is to do it by 2020.
Wow, so I might stick around.
I hope so.
What else do you want to tell me about everything you're doing?
I think to your listeners and to everybody that we talk to, it's about building community. It's about investing. It's very easy to be cynical about what isn't possible, and change is difficult. Most people fear change, not because they fear what's to come, as they fear what they're losing. And so I think part of it is, how do we effectively engage people, that we have real conversations, that we sit down and figure out how we roll up our sleeves and work together. Because at the end of the day, this is our city, and we kind of have a choice as to what kind of city we want to live in. And we can live in one that really is isolated and is siloed, or we can live in one where we can be better connected. And I think the LA River can play a huge role in making that cleaner, greener, more connected Los Angeles that I certainly want my kids to grow up in. And so I think continuing to press policymakers, Mayor Garcetti, in his first 100 days, announced performance metrics to judge his administration by, and the performance metric that he came out with for the LA River was miles of public access. We were thrilled to see that, because that fit very much with our Greenway 2020 campaign, the idea of connecting all 51 miles of the river, which is about creating greater connectivity. Just like the Coastal Commission along our beaches wants to make sure that we don't cut off public access to the great natural resources of our beaches, we want to make sure that we can create greater access to the LA River, and we're already seeing it. And that's, to me, the beauty of this. This isn't a binary win or lose. This isn't just a blank piece of dirt and then you build some structure on it. This is an organic living process. And so to me, in many ways, the game's already been won, because we're looking at the river differently. We recognize that this isn't something that we should turn our backs to, but it's something we should embrace. And in doing so, we can have fun events, right, that people want to go and they want to enjoy it now. You don't need the billions of dollars of investment. Is that investment going to continue to make it a greater destination, and a destination worthy of our world-class city? Absolutely. And so that's why we can both enjoy it today, but also invest in it for tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Omar Bronson.
Thank you.
Hi, could you say who you are and your position, please?
Nicole Friedman, and Director of Bike Programs for the City of Boston.
Okay, and can you tell me about the Green Lanes Project?
Sure. So Green Lane Projects is run by an organization, People for Bikes, and they're a great national advocacy organization. And what their goal is to accelerate implementation of cycle tracks around the country. And one of the main ways they do that is by choosing green lane focus cities. Boston is now one of those green lane focus cities, and they work with those cities for 2 years. They provide technical assistance, financial assistance. They do a lot of research. They do a lot of PR. And in doing that, not only do they help each of those 6 cities to add more cycle tracks, but they really are paving the way for cities around the country to be adding cycle tracks.
And when did you get to become one of the Green Lane cities?
They actually just announced last week the Green Lane cities, or actually this Monday, so official as of Monday.
Does this mean you get some protected bike lanes?
Well, the city, yes. The city has always been planning on doing protected bike lanes, but I think with this support, it really will do exactly what they hope it will do. It will accelerate us. It's almost like a tailwind helping us get more lanes up.
So do they tell you what to do, or do you already have the plans and they're going to help you fund it?
It's actually much less about funding and much more about the strategic and technical assistance, access to their research, and a lot of the press help that they'll be providing. With that said, they definitely do have some, help to get finances as well.
So we did a show with some other cities that were part of the Green Lanes project. It was, I think, Memphis and is Portland one?
This time there's 6. So it's Atlanta, Denver, Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, Seattle, and of course Boston.
All right. And so you are going to benefit from their research? Couldn't you just take that anyway? I'm sorry, but like how do you? It's not money, but it's their expertise. I guess they have staff helping you, or how does that work?
I think it's the whole package, and I can give a great example or a number of examples. So one, cycle tracks are fairly new in the country, fairly new in Boston, and when we go into a public meeting, the natural instinct is, why do we want this? It's taking up more space. What about pedestrians and cyclists running into each other? And working with the Green Lane Project, we'll have access to an incredible amount of real data that will say, actually, look, these are great. They're decreasing crashes among motor vehicles, pedestrians, and cyclists. Ridership is going up. Sidewalk biking is going down. Motor vehicle speeds are going down. And they'll have all of that data. Another example is the design is also new to us. They host a study tour in the Netherlands, and they invite officials from Boston, so 4 officials from Boston would go. And it's a great opportunity for folks from our engineering department, our public works department, even the mayor's office to actually be able to see and physically see how will this change a city, and can this work in Boston, and how will it work in Boston.
So, but your plans were already. Is there resistance to plans that you already had to put in protected bike lanes?
Well, so we just completed our 5-year and 30-year network plan, and the entire plan is always, subject to a complete and thorough public process. And, one of the most important things with the public process is to educate everyone so they can evaluate a project based on the reality of, what impacts the change will bring. And, with any project, you're going to have some proponents and some people that are more resistant. And I think with the backing of the Green Lane Project and People for Bikes, we'll really be able to tell a much, much better story.
And then why just 6 cities? I mean, why not share this with every city?
I don't know. We could ask the Green Lane Project that. But I think, I can see when you focus on a few cities, you can do, you'll have much more impact within those cities. And when you're talking about bike projects, the more you can have a network of facilities and really pull them together, the more successful it is. So, if you're going to put in 30 cycle tracks, better to have 5 per city than it would be one over 30 cities. But I think as well for them, since there is a big component of sharing the news of these cities across the country, choosing 6 highly committed cities like Boston is really, a better way to communicate some of the successes.
So what is the story that you can tell about why cycle tracks are a good idea?
The number one thing that we know in this country is more than 50% of the population says they want a bike, but they're too scared to do it, and it's this fear of motor vehicles that's really holding them back. And there's been some tremendous early results coming out of other cities that have put in cycle tracks in terms of reduction in crashes, increase in ridership, et cetera. And, some of the numbers, Pennsylvania Avenue has a median buffered bike lane, and they saw a doubling of ridership. The Prospect Park cycle track in New York City, on weekdays, they saw a tripling of ridership. Market Street in San Francisco, 115% increase in ridership. And, these numbers are practically overnight, and what you're realizing is you're able to mainstream cycling by taking away the fear of motor vehicles and actually providing a safe, separated facility. In addition to that, you're having real positive impacts on crash injuries. So crashes for motor vehicles, pedestrians, and cyclists, they all go down. And then we've seen some other data. Speeding is always a problem. Speeding is going down on roads with cycle tracks. So it really can be a win-win-win. In Boston, with a lot of the cycle track projects that we envision, not only are we adding the cycle track, but once you start looking at a road, you also say, okay, what pedestrian improvements can we put in there, and how can we make this road function better for all of the users?
So so one thing that you're showing is that cycle tracks increase biking.
Yep.
Have you already demonstrated beyond any doubt how more biking is good for the city?
It's very important to our mayor, and you look at it in a number of ways. And in some way it's an equity issue and it's a livability issue. Where do people want to live? They want to live in places where they can be outside. They don't have to sit in traffic in their cars, where you can bike or walk to work, where you can take public transit. So there's that whole quality of life aspect to it. And then you look at the health aspect, particularly in some of our lower income communities. Those have some of our highest, health inequities, and a lot of it is, if you can get on a bike, the average cyclist loses 13 pounds in a year. So making it possible to get out there by bike, be healthy. Similarly, in low-income areas, and I think this equity piece is so critical, transportation can sometimes be up to 50% of, just after housing, but when you put in housing and transportation, you're up to 50% of people's disposable income at minimum. And if you can reduce the transportation costs, which you can with a bike, which you can with walking, again, you're really having a tremendous impact on the bottom line.
So it seems like you're showing how biking is important for the city. You're showing how protected cycle lanes, cycle tracks increase biking. And so anything else that needs to be done? What other work do you think that needs to be done?
And I always say the cycle tracks is it's a very important piece of the puzzle. Let's combine that piece with bike share and bike share in all neighborhoods of the city. And there are two very powerful levers to get the average person to get non-cyclists on a bike feeling safe, feeling comfortable. And when you do that, you really can start to see European levels of biking, in the 10, 15, 20% of trips being made by bike.
Is that in the cards for Boston?
The goal is to make Boston a world-class cycling city. Right now, we're one of the better cities in the United States, and we see Green Lane Project really as instrumental in our phase 2. We have a new mayor, Mayor Walsh, who's embracing cycling and says, look, we can do it. We can take Boston from where we are, where the last administration left off, and we can do this. We can make Boston a world-class city, and the protected bike lanes is really a key component of that.
All right. And how can we keep informed, up to date on this?
Yep, the Green Lane Project has a website, and then we have a website as well. We use bostonbikes.org. And then we, of course, have a newsletter that we send out regularly.
All right. How long have you been the bike? I'm sorry, what's your title again?
Director of Bike Programs since 2007.
Well, yeah, I've been meaning to interview you since that time, so this is the first time I've been able to do that. It's a long time to keep your job in the city as a bike director of bike programs. Well,
I think as long as we keep making great progress, we will be in a great place.
All right. Cool. And are you keeping up with New York?
Every city has its strengths. New York has done some fantastic work.
All right. Who's the one to beat? Who's the city that you're
well, right now Minneapolis is really right up there, and they're a winter city. We get a lot of best practices from Minneapolis, a lot from New York City, a lot from Portland and Seattle. And with the Green Lane Project, we really looked at a lot of those cities as well.
All right. Anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
Well, thanks a lot, and please let me know what else you want to talk about.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, see you. Bye.
Sweatshop. We're at the sweatshop of Don Ward.
Yeah, tell me about your sweatshop.
We have a whole sweatshop operation going on here. There's very little money being paid to anybody. We're packing furiously, T-shirts into bags. Lots of refunds for the marathon crash race that was canceled, and we're getting these packages out and coming correct. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that wanted the T-shirt. We only made so many, so you're just gonna have to take the comp ticket if you don't want the T-shirt.
All right. So
if we can't get you the T-shirt because we're almost out.
So what happened with the marathon crash race? We haven't had a debrief yet.
Yeah, the marathon crash race was canceled by the city.
Do you normally talk like this, or are you talking slightly different?
What do you mean?
That was the greatest comment ever. Best interview question ever.
The marathon crash race was canceled. The marathon crash race, I canceled it. It was like swatting a hornet's nest of cyclists, and we all know that the bike lobby, you really don't want to fuck with. You really just want to kind of let them have their fun and throw them a bone, and just keep them happy, because cyclists can get really uppity, and here we have this race that everybody loves canceled by the city. So that's not a good situation.
So it's not like you canceled it.
I did. I got a notice of violation that I was going to be criminally liable and have to pay a huge fine if we move forward with the event. so, I told them the reality is that this event will happen no matter what. We're just there to kind of bring some organization and safety to it. And so they, the guy was like, yeah, we got it handled. Don't worry about it. I was like, well, how are you gonna, they're gonna race anyways. He's like, Dad, don't worry about it. We got it handled, under control. I was like, all right, yeah, no problem.
Okay.
The chief inspector from the Bureau of Street Services, and yeah, he was real friendly, but he was just basically saying it can't happen, and it can't get a permit at this point. He said that. He said you can't get an expedited permit.
But it happened anyway.
Well, yeah, because I told him, all right, I'll cancel it. I got the word out, put the word out everywhere. It was on NPR, LA Times, everybody, LA Weekly. Everybody knew it was being canceled. So I did my due diligence. It was canceled. However, there was still going to be, a couple thousand cyclists that show up at this place and crash the course. So now it was the city's event. The city was now responsible for this thing. My hands were washed. And I think they realized they had an oh shit moment because, it's been like this for 3 years. The LAPD has come out to protect the people. The people want to crash the marathon course, and the LAPD are there doing their job to protect it. And this year, that wasn't going to be the case, or it's now going to be the case for the city to handle this and control it.
Okay, so maybe we now need a history of the Wolfpack Hustle Marathon crash race.
So people have been crashing the marathon course for a long time. Midnight Riders was in 2007 organizing rides to crash what was then the Acura Bike Tour. Then they took away the Acura Bike Tour in 2008 or 2009 or something. People started crashing the course and racing on it, and there was kind of an impromptu race. So in 2010, Hearn came to me and he was like, why don't we do a Wolfpack Hustle race on the marathon course? And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do this. And it eventually, I made the flyers and posted and promoted on Midnight Riders, and like 400 people showed up, which is more than ever before, because it's a Wolfpack race. I mean, we were throwing huge races at the time, and I was looking for something safe to do, safer, because we did this race called the All City Race that like 400 people would race from one side of Los Angeles to the other, any route you want, and it was just madness, like 5-member teams, and it was just too crazy, too potentially deadly, So I wanted a safer race. So this marathon crash race was like the perfect option, and we ran it a couple years, and Warren Comer's made a documentary about it, and it kind of blew up into this huge, like people knew about it now even more because it was showing in all these film festivals.
Is it online?
It's online, yeah. It's called Racing the End. It's a beautiful film. I feel like I could die tomorrow and something will have like documented something cool that I did, So I'm super thankful to Warren for making that.
And so now you're here, and what does it all come to at this point?
What it all comes to is next year we're going to try and legitimize it. So, the city realized that they're responsible. So the mayor's office called me Wednesday. I'd canceled it Tuesday. Mayor's office called me Wednesday. Let's make this a celebration. Let's try to make this into a win-win, because it's not going to look good for anybody if there's a mob of, cyclists out there that are barreling through the streets unregulated. That these streets are not totally closed off. That's the myth of the marathon crash race. There's still live intersections. So anyways, they called me and it was like, all right, what's that going to look like? Because now all my infrastructure is like collapsed, really, and people are not coming out. We can't call a race at this point. It's too difficult anyways because we didn't have Officer Helper.
Gordon Helper?
Mm-hmm. For some reason, he was taking off bike duties sometime in September. and I think he was being punished by command staff for probably being too cozy. You know, like he was such a supporter of Wolfpack Hustle and us of him that I think the city, like the command staff at LAPD, might have looked at that and been like, what's this guy doing? He's making friends with these outlaw cyclists, but they don't realize that he's actually helping like a whole sector, you know, build relations with the Los Angeles Police Department. These are inner city, urban kids that don't, you know, in park poor areas that want to just get out there and do something. And they're not always on the right side of the police relationship, you know. And here was a chance for this guy to look like a hero to all these youngsters that live in Koreatown. And he was a hero. I mean, people recognized him, you know, they love that guy. And suddenly he's taken off. He's the one guy in the whole city that could probably lead this marathon crash race through the city streets and keep it safe, because he knew how to block intersections. So when it became clear, you know, 2 weeks before the race was going to happen, that he was taken off, because we held hope for him to be on, but they never called him up. And then I talked to the command staff and I was like, I need Officer Helper, and they said, we can't give him to you. You know, we just can't give him to you.
So do you think this is part of a city crackdown on the race? And why would that have happened at this time?
I mean, like I said, I think he was being punished. Like, I think he was being checked. Like, hey, you're building too much of a relationship with this group, these cyclists, who on the other hand criticize us and raise a bunch of stink about projects and make a bunch of noise about hit and runs. Now you're friends with them, you know. So I think somebody way up there was just kind of, all right, let's hush this guy a little bit. I don't know.
I guess I'm trying to say that they also canceled your permit. So is there some kind of a...
I'm building up to that. So it was a little shaky now. Like, who's going to lead this? This is a high-speed closure that you need to be able to do. You need the expertise. Who's in charge? You know, I was like asking them, the command staff, and they're very, very, like, the LAPD is very, I mean, good people that I was working with. So Commander Bill Scott was like very cool about this whole thing, but I think he kind of realized, like, this is a shaky situation because we don't really have any trained officers other than Officer Helper, and for some reason there was that directive for him not to work on this. So I don't know. I told them, I go, look, I don't know, you know, I don't truly know what Officer Helper wants to do. Maybe he doesn't want to be on this, but we really need this guy. And I think they got scared, and then 2 days later, 3 days, 4 days before the race, I get the call from the city attorney and the chief inspector from Bureau of City Services, telling me that I'm in violation and I have to have these permits. And the guy told me there's no way to get expedited permits, so I just gave up.
So how has this affected you emotionally?
Emotionally, it was just a roller coaster. It was like, you know, I already have this burden on my shoulders. I feel like, wow, I'm responsible for this people, like 3,000, 4,000 people, to get safely through the city. And I'm negotiating with LAPD. I'm the only one speaking, really, on behalf of all these people. And that's a huge feeling, a burden. So I've been trying to legitimize it, divide up the mass so that serious racers are in the front and have priority, the chill riders in the back and just ride chill, those kind of things, and have insurance on the event. I went through the motions of, I bought insurance and I got a policy in place and protected the city, even named them as protected, all the cities we go through. So we were really trying this year to make it more legitimate, and it collapsed, when they sent that notice.
And what happened at the ride? Did you still divide the riders? How did it work?
We just did a ride. We called off the race completely. The city attorney worked, and the city, worked really hard, and the mayor's office worked really hard to get a permit. They got a permit in less than 24 hours. And then it was, like I said, it was too dicey to call a race, so we just made it a ride, and we wanted everybody to show the city that we could just relax and control ourselves. And then next year we're going to try and make this thing super legit. still keep everything low cost. I don't want one of those. I don't want the Acura Bike Tour, because guess what? The Acura Bike Tour, you know, if they brought that back, if Frank McCourt brought that back, there would still be about 2 hours of lead time in road closure setup, in which 1,000 people will show up and do an unregulated street race. So we might as well work with the group that has brought organization to it, that's Wolfpack Hustle, and make a race that is, you know, it protects everybody, but it also is organized so that it's not a full-on street race.
You can do it next year?
If we can get permits. I already met with the mayor this morning, with Henny.
Wow.
The mayor's office, I keep saying.
Henny is here folding Wolfpack Hustle shirts. Henny, you're with Ciclavia?
Is there geotagging on this sweatshop? Because we don't want the feds to know.
Oh, sorry. Well, okay, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
So
Henny's here.
Yeah.
She works with Ciclavia, so you know how. See, her expertise is that she has experience with Ciclavia, the massive bike event that takes all kinds of road closures and takes all kinds of crazy planning. So I'm so glad to be working with her.
Well, what are
and
you?
we have Sarah Hertwick.
Sarah.
Hi.
Who also is, I mean, you have a background in production, right?
Yeah,
Event planning. I mean, we got the team.
And what are you going to do with the team?
Fold shirts and send them out. That's about it. No, what we're going to do with the team is we're already working on legitimizing next year. We've got 4 more races coming this year. They wounded the marathon crash race, so Wolfpack Hustle is coming back and carpet bombing 2014 with 4 more races in retaliation for their attack on the marathon crash. No, I'm just kidding.
But it's like one of those. It's like one of those things where instead of dying, it divides and
multiplies. Because you know what, people. This is the funny thing is, like, Los Angeles. Stop being curmudgeons, Los Angeles. Like Huntington Park and Long Beach are both stoked to have a race happen in their city because we bring a whole bunch of people. It's a great celebration of something healthy and active that youngsters can get into, that they can focus on something so positive in their lives. And cities want that. And Los Angeles, you once again, you know, the ship is sailing, and there you are standing on the dock. Like, come on, jump on board. Bikes, you know, we need bikes. That's it. Los Angeles, bikes. This is the heart of the bike lobby. There's China. I'm a China. Like, OG Midnight Riders. Well, not OG, but OG. What are you, like?
you're double OG.
We're at, like, the 6th generation of Midnight Riders, and you're what? 2nd generation? 3rd generation? 2nd. Yeah, look at it. 2nd generation. She was 15.
Oh wow. And you're all folding shirts.
Folding shirts in the sweat lodge.
Oh, but it's a sweat lodge, which is
Yeah,
totally
it's not a
different.
sweat shop. It's a sweat lodge.
Because we have beer.
We're having a good time, you know, doing mundane things, but I'm copy pasting addresses, and it's just horrifying.
I heard you're the most hated man in LA though now. How does that
Pretty much.
where does that come from?
You know, it's true. I am a hated person. I am completely hated. Everybody hates me.
Well, you're the one who said it though.
I did say it because, my God, how can you cancel the marathon crash race? And to tell you the truth, the front pack at that ride did get fast, and they tried to lose the cops, and that was, they did it, and they rode into Palos Verdes somewhere. It seemed like the cops actually led them out into the boonies, which was genius. They turned around, the cops turned around, and this front pack that was racing on the ride got let out into Palos Verdes, and I don't know where they went, Topanga Canyon or something. So it was like, get those guys out of here, and let's get back to the fun ride, and we made it all the way to Santa Monica without any incidents.
Well, we have some sound from Maria Sippin, so I think we'll probably play that next.
Very cool, very cool. She's awesome.
All right, thanks a lot, Roadblock, a.k.a. Don Ward, in your Sweat Lodge.
Sweat Lodge, yeah,
golden shirt.
laboring. We're all laboring very hard in the Sweat Lodge.
The shirts are for the people who paid originally to sign up for the race.
Yes, paid, and then there were people that purchased T-shirts. We're gonna get those shirts out first, and then we've got another 50 to 100 shirts that we'll send out to people that paid, and then everybody else gets a comp ticket and a high five and a handshake.
Comp ticket to one of the other four.
One of the other 4 races. So come on out.
How do we register for one of the races and get like Wolfpack Hustle paraphernalia?
We're gonna open up registration soon. There's so many things that need to get done, and I mean, we're. How do you transition this broke ass operation into like something slick and corporate? We strive to be corporate. No, how do you actually make something like a street race into something like seriously organized that people can depend on? Because fucking you know, we get these glitches every so often, and I'm trying to improve it so that a racer will come out and they know what they're going to get, and the audience comes out and they know what they're going to get. Some ass kicking. We're almost there. But yeah, next year, 2015 Marathon Crash. It's going to happen. We've got the support of the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the mayor.
Well, the mayor's office, they can make all kinds of promises. Politicians make all kinds of promises, and they're basically worthless. But in this case, I think that we've both seen the light, you know, and we both know that it's going to take some organization. We can partner with the city. Let's partner with the city and make it happen. I'm hungry.
All right. You mean...
I want a veggie burrito.
Thanks. And here's Maria and her interviews.
Do you guys want veggie burritos? They're on me. Get that on tape too, so I don't seem like a total slave.
My name is Gemma, and I'm from Eagle Rock.
Cool. So, what made you decide to come out tonight, or this morning actually? What made you decide to come out this morning?
Just, you know, the love of riding, and my boyfriend had me out here with him.
Have you ever done this ride before?
No, this is the first time.
So, what do you think? What do you think is the importance of this ride to LA?
Hopefully it'll increase bike awareness in the city so we can get, you know, more bike lanes and encourage more people to ride.
Did you know about the drama earlier this week and the cancellation?
Somewhat. I was filled in saying that it was canceled and it's back on and now it's a ride, it's not a race. So,
well, that's
somewhat.
Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
This is Caroline Della Victoria from Los Angeles.
All right. So, what made you come out this morning?
To ride, do the ride.
Have you done this ride before?
No, this is my first year.
Who got you to come out tonight?
My boyfriend over here, actually.
Yeah. Have you been following any of the news this week about the cancellation?
Yeah, I've been following Wolfpack Hustle on Facebook. I'm getting a lot of the news, the feeds.
What do you think this ride means to people in LA?
Sending a message to the city of Los Angeles, letting them know that, you know, cyclists, normal people want to get out there and ride. And
how long have you been riding?
For over a year now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the biggest challenge for you to be riding out here, or is it pretty easy for you?
The challenge would be just the drivers on the road, you know, being considerate of cyclists and, you know.
How do you hope to change the perception of drivers out there?
Just by getting out on the bike and riding and.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, thank you. I think every woman on the road sends a huge message, and it's really powerful. So thanks for riding today.
Thank you.
You're from KPFK? Yes, BikeTalk KPFK. Right, go for it.
My name is Eric Huerta, and I'm from Boyle Heights.
All right, so what made you come out this morning?
I came out today because I've been doing it for the last couple of years. It's a tradition now. So crashing the LA Marathon is one of the things I look forward to doing every year.
It's a tradition for many people. What do you think this ride means for Los Angeles?
I think it's starting to take a shape in terms of like it's become a focal point for folks to like start getting around it yearly, not just like at different focal points around the year with like crash race or ciclavia or anything else. It's like it's starting to get folks into like a regular cycle of just being out there on their bikes all the time.
This week the race was canceled and it transformed into just a fun ride. What do you think the turning point was, and how did that all happen?
I think the city, especially with Garcetti now in office, he can't really turn a blind eye to like the stuff that Roadblock and other like cycling and bicycle advocates do in the city. So it's pretty much crucial to maintain these kind of relationships, and this is one of those like homie favors where it's like, all right, things are a little crazy right now, but we're gonna do you a solid and come through. When I'm glad the city did.
Thank you. Ride safe out there.
Thank you.
All right, I think you're warmed up. Go ahead.
My name is Sonia Mendoza, and I'm actually from Claremont, California.
Oh, wonderful. I'm from the 909 too, so welcome.
I live here, though.
Cool. All right, so what made you decide to get up this morning and ride over here?
I actually wanted to do this ride last year and had just moved here, so I just missed it. So I was excited to come out this year.
Have you been following the drama about the cancellations this week?
A little bit. That's interesting.
Go for it.
A little bit, but...
What's going on here?
It's Wolfpack Hustle's Marathon Crash Ride. It's a ride that basically rides the whole course of the marathon. And basically we just bike it. Before the marathon starts. Yeah. Okay. No problem. Okay, so why did you decide to do this race this morning? Actually, this ride.
I just really wanted to do the marathon route. I have friends that have done it, so who are not here today because they're traveling, but yeah, they thought it was really fun. So, and I bike for work every day, so I don't do a lot of pleasure riding actually.
That's great. I consider this pleasure riding also. It's such a nice break. Like, I normally hate riding at night, but on this kind of territory with some of the closures and all these people supporting the ride, it's just a lot easier to do it. What do you think this race means to LA, or this ride basically? This just turned into a ride. What does this ride mean to Los Angeles?
I mean, I think it means that there's a lot of bikers here, and they should have a space on the road just like cars, and biking and cycling and walking and other.
All right, this is Nick from BikeTalk, and I'm talking to the founding director of the Bicycle Film Festival, Brendt Barber. Hi, Brendt.
Hi, Nick. It's so good to be back. It's been a few years. I remember being on BikeTalk in 2010. It's really great to be back.
You're still in. You've expanded, probably, huh? You've gotten bigger and better. I think.
I don't know, but it's certainly been a lot of fun. Since we met up last time, we've been to Istanbul, Cape Town, Moscow, Buenos Aires, Mexico City, Hong Kong. So some great new cities carrying the Bicycle Film Festival flag.
Wow. And so do you have entries from all these places?
Do we have entries from all these places? Yeah, we have entries from all over the world. This year in the programming, we're coming back to LA, and in the programming we have movies from Afghanistan, from Italy. We've always had a great selection from Africa. So we have movies from all over the world.
So, but you're coming to LA, and the dates are April 3rd through 5th. And is it different from the other shows you do? Is it more an LA-centric one, or is it the same global show for every place that you go?
We try to localize every program, which makes it a lot of work. But for example, we have a screening of Half the Road, which we have not screened yet, and It's a feature documentary about women's challenges and accomplishments within the pro cycling circuit and in cycling in general. So that will be playing for the first time in LA, and I think that LA is a great place to play that because the women's bike movement is so strong there, and road cycling is so strong there. So that was a selection that we've made that's coming out now, this film called Half the Road, and it's going to have national distribution with first run features. So you'll see it play in your independent film screening spot throughout the country.
Can you describe what it's like to go to a bicycle film festival for people who may not have gone yet?
Well, first off, it's tons of fun. And if you have never been to the Bicycle Film Festival, I highly recommend going to the shorts programs because there's always going to be something that you like, or maybe you might not like one film as much as the other, but you're really going to love another one. And then you talk to somebody else, your friend that you came with, and they really love Sister Session, for example, which is a movie about women BMXers trying to break into one of the biggest BMX competitions, which is called Simple Session in Estonia. So, you know, I think that is what's great. I think also it's a place where a lot of people meet each other. I don't know how many marriages we've had. I know I can say like 3 or 4 off the top of my head that I know of people who have met and have since gotten married. So it's kind of that place where I think you can make a best friend and come and enjoy yourself.
So it takes place over a couple of days. Are there events connected with it, bike rides, things like that?
Well, that will happen organically. Once we're going to launch that, this conversation is our launch actually. And we haven't been to LA for a couple of years, so we're coming back a little bit smaller. We're not doing all the art shows and rock shows, and but we're really focusing on the films, and so we hope people can come out. The movies are incredible. So essentially, we've programmed some of the greatest hits of the last 2 years and some of the best movies around for this season. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, okay, and so it's all day, each of the days. There's
Friday and Saturday. The programming is Saturday is the programming for the films. Are on Friday there's 7:30 and 9:30, and then Saturday is 7 and 9.
All right,
and then there's after parties after.
Oh,
it's
cool.
at the Japanese Cultural Community Center.
So Little Tokyo?
ACCC. Yeah, exactly. It's a really cool place. They do dance and theater there, and it's a really, really big place. Like I said, we're going to focus on the film, come back really grounded. We found that in LA, a lot of folks are just coming to the parties, but like we like people to come to the movies as well. So.
And do you have sponsors, like local sponsors here?
Yeah, Orange 20 has always been very supportive. And
Orange 20?
Yeah. Our title sponsor is Kind Snacks. Also, we have a lawyer. Can you chime in on that one, please, Dana?
It's Joshua C. Cohen, Los Angeles bicycle attorney.
Oh, yeah, we had him on.
So Joshua C. Cohen is, that's really supportive. So that's really awesome.
And so we can go to your website and maybe see some, well, I guess can we see trailers? Or what's up there?
Yeah, there's trailers all over the website. You just go to the Los Angeles page when it's up, and you can see a lot of the trailers to the short films that we're playing in the program. So it's bicyclefilmfestival.com. Also, we're doing something that's localized. We came up with a project with Kind Bars, which are absolutely good. Like, full disclosure, they're sponsoring us, but they are really good.
Yeah.
We're doing a program called Kind Deliveries, where you can order on their site when we launch it, which is right a week before the festival. You can order on their site flowers to be in a note to be delivered to a friend, a colleague, what have you. So just passing on a flower, and these will be delivered by bicycles with a reminder of the Bicycle Film Festival, and it will be delivered by bicycles throughout the Los Angeles area. So that should be a lot of fun. The week before, we just did it in San Diego, and they delivered 2,000 or so flowers throughout the whole city. So that should be a lot of fun, and in that way, it's very localized. So we'll be contacting and spreading bicycle cheer to folks who maybe normally don't really even know about bikes.
Okay, so you can send a flower by bike to a loved one, and and maybe they'll get some kind bars.
I think that's probably included. That's probably going to be included too.
Before you go, any other shorts or bike movies you want to tell us about that you're excited about in particular?
Well, Lucas Bernal is always very popular, right? And so his movie Road Rage is probably his best work yet. It's incredible. And if you've been to the bicycle before and enjoyed it and loved it, I think that you really love the programming this time. There are so many great films. Road to Karakol. There's a young man who rode his bike through Central Asia and then climbs the top of a mountain and all the obstacles he has to go through with the police, and then also the fear of losing his life. And it's an incredible program.
Right, well,
the shorts are a lot of fun, as you know, if you've been before.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's great. I'll be there, and maybe we'll talk to you again before it happens too.
Oh, I would love to talk anytime. You have my number.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Brendt, and we'll see you there.
Thank you, Nick.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bike Talk. If you want to hear more, go to kpfk.org, navigate to Programs, and choose Bike Talk. On the Bike Talk page, click on the Archives link to play or download shows posted in the last 4 months. Go to biketalk.com and copy or click on the RSS feed link to subscribe. Our Twitter handle is BikeTalkPFK. On Facebook, we are Bike Talk. You can become friends and join our group.